Well, hello. Today I'm coming to you with a new kit designed for the Defy Foundation. It is from MacJewelry2012 in Etsy. I will have a link down below. I'm showing you now some of the pages. These are my boo-boos. I printed wrong and forgot to take off the lines on the edges and all that other good stuff. So I'm actually going to be able to do two different projects today. Mostly because I have two sets. The original set is this one, the Boo Boo. But the one that I printed correctly, I printed on both sides. And it will be a book. This project is just a little pocket folder type thing. That's my favorite page right there. And I've already cut and folded it to what I needed. And I'm going to use it as a project, but right now I'm looking for the other one that's my next to the favorite one, which would be this one. So we fold it in half, and then I take it to my cutter and I trim it. You can easily use your scissors, but I'm a trimmer kind of girl, especially when I'm in a hurry. So we get it trimmed, and then we need to measure it so that we can fold it into thirds. After we folded it, which I believe the measurements were about 3 3/8. No, 3 5/8. And what I'm doing here is I am using my paper trimmer as a scoreboard for those that may not have one. I'm just getting the blade out of the way and then using something to score in the groove of the cutter. So we didn't quite cut it exactly right. So, whoops, I take that back. We did. It was the other one I cut that I didn't cut right. This is my first voiceover, ladies and gents. Please bear with me. What I'm going to do now is I'm inking the edges just to make it all consistent, and it is printed on white paper, so, we want to cover up what white papers we can. It was getting late, and my eyes weren't doing too good, so now I'm going to glue it into a pocket, which not too much longer here, and I realized that I needed to put glue on the inside part too, where they fold. But before we get to that, we're cutting circles so that we can reach in there and get all the good fun stuff out of the pockets. And that's when I realized that, maybe you should mark where you're going to cut so they're all alike. But I guess it really didn't matter because when you stuff all the stuff in there, nobody's going to see them all three together anyway. So I'm using some of the tags that I had already cut out and some of the playing cards and putting them in there. And that's when I realized that I probably needed to glue that. It just wasn't as stable as I thought it should be. So I get in there and unclog my glue and turn on my light again because I was getting blind. Put some glue in the crease and then just press it down. Now don't put anything right away into the pockets because they're freshly glued and I want to make sure they stay. We all know how that fresh glue stuff messes up. So I went ahead and I cut out a tag and I cut out some little hearts because I wanted to bring more of the red in. Trimming out the little hearts and I'm going to glue it on the tag as a tab. Sometimes I think I'll do anything to keep from tying fibers on a tag. It's not that I hate it, it just seems to be a lot of work for me. Maybe I do not like it very much. So anyway, I put some glue on this heart, and then I put some glue on the paper, and I glue it on there. So both sides are covered and look nice and pretty. Trim it up so that it looks like it's supposed to be that way. And there we go. Our pretty little tag with its own little tab. Now I'm rounding the corners so it all ties together, and it looks pretty cool. I'm happy with it. Well, almost happy. I decided it's white, and I am going to ink the edges a little bit, and then I'm going to get out a ruler or a straight edge or anything that will give me a straight line to do. And now I'm going to draw lines. I don't know why, but I just have this thing that a journal card needs to have lines. And if it doesn't, somewhere in the journal there needs to be lines. Maybe it's because I can't write without a straight line. So I tucked a little tag in there, and it sure is looking cute. We take in a few more. Sorry for being off screen there. I so do that way too often, and I totally forget. So I'm showing you some of the different tags and some of the different things they say. I don't have them all cut out yet because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them all yet. So I went off camera for a sec, and this is the part I messed up on that I misprinted. And I used the cards that were side by side and folded them in half to make a little pocket. What I used, not a little pocket, a little booklet. What I used for my pages was book pages. At the end of a chapter, at the beginning of a chapter, there's blank pages. That's the part I used. Just the blank parts. I put it in the cover and I pull it down just a little bit and then cut so that I am cutting it the right length just by sliding it up a bit. So I get out my stapler and I staple them in. And this project has a lot of oh wait, or let me start overs. And I don't know why. I guess the time of day. And that's where I realized it doesn't fit. Doesn't fit in the first one either. But I tried. So I come up with this brilliant idea. And I don't want to trim off the side because it'll cut off too much of the image. So what I did is I pulled out that staple because it was in the way of where I was going to cut. And I drew me a line because there was no way I was going to use my scissors and cut a straight line. So here I am cutting with my small scissors, which if I was smart, I would have grabbed the bigger scissors. But it still worked. It's okay. So I throw the scraps in, and I could staple it and make it a tablet, but I like the book thing. So I am going to put my other staple in, and I'm going to use the piece I cut off as the binding on the edge. I'm sure you've all already figured that out before we got there. So I put it on, and it's a little bit fiddly, but we get it there. And then I decide to burnish it. And when I go to burnish it, I'm showing you all the different things you can use to burnish. And I pick up my pen and it puts black marks. I thought the paint or the pen was leaking, but nope. I actually wore the black off the end of the pen. So trying to save it, I got it wet. I rubbed it. I inked it. I put some pencil marks on it and smeared that. And I just kept going and just kept going. I actually wore through the paper once when I put some water on there. There, you can see that now. Okay, Jean, get it back in frame. Okay. So I just decided that that part of the heart bothered me being covered. So I took my black pen and I just colored it in, and then it looks perfectly normal. I'm still upset with the back because it didn't look very good, but now I'm going to ink the edges and flip it over, and I'm going to re-ink that, and I think it starts to look good. It looks a little grungy, a little messed up, but it looks fine. I mean, messed up in a good way. So here's the little tablet that you can write your little notes on. And we've cut it down, and it fits absolutely perfect in our little folder. So we're going to stick in some tags and some of the playing cards. Now you may want to clip the corners on some of the playing cards because they might go into the pockets just a little bit easier. And I'm using the uncut tags just because I want you to see just how pretty and full it can be. They all got to turn and look a certain way, you know. So I decide that maybe I need some more decoration, and I take the bird and I cut him out. Not perfectly, but good enough for me. And we're going to glue that little birdie on a page. I find out after it gets glued on, you don't see it too well. So we draw around it with a pencil and shade it out and make it stand out just a little bit more. I'm not positive just how much more, but it's all good. There I go, putting the glue on my little bird. See, he kind of gets lost in there. And I decide to cut the heart out with a little bit of a frame around it so it kind of pops. Glue that down. Helps the bird be seen a little bit better. We're going to take a pencil and we're just going to kind of color around it to get a little depth on the page. Makes it show up quite a bit better. In person, it's much better to see. So now you have this cute little pocket with all kinds of tags and things in it that you can put in your purse and carry around. And you can use the tags in the cards to write things on. And now there I'm cutting the tree and showing how you could use it to make a little tuck spot on the front, on the side, wherever. And I think what I really like about that is that you can just carry those little things right in your purse. And when you run into someone who needs a boost or needs a helping hand or just needs an encouraging word, you can write something on there and just let them know you're there. Thanks for watching.